if it's around me, I cannot control myself. If anything has that sort of attraction, then it can't be good for you because you should be able to resist it.
Hello, carnivores, and welcome to session number 113. Coach Casey Aiken is the host and caretaker of Kilgore's historic Kirby Creek Lodge, located along the Snake River in Hells Canyon, Idaho. He is an IPHM certified carnivore nutrition coach and founder of Primal Cuts LLC. Primal Cuts was born from Casey's relentless pursuit of truth in a sea of misinformation. In 2021, after being recommended statins for mildly elevated cholesterol, he dove deep into the science behind nutrition while completing his master's degree in business analytics. What he discovered changed everything. Rejecting outdated dogma and embracing the power of ancestral health, he began his carnivore journey, shedding not just body fat, but years of confusion. Today, he's made it his mission to empower others with the knowledge, tools, and products that actually work. Casey flew down to visit me this last weekend in San Diego to shoot some YouTube videos, talk about our clients, and discuss our business model. So we're going to recap all that. And I'm going to ask some questions around how he cooks ribeyes, because he definitely cooked up the best ribeye that I have had since relocating San Diego, or probably ever for that matter. We've got several questions submitted by our listeners that we'll tackle along the way as well. Asking everything from fiber to sous vide. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I don't even know what the hell that is, but Holly was just asking me about it over text this morning. So I will ask you about that, my man. I hope that's your department. And also we'll be giving away our one of our pre-workouts. So be sure to listen all the way through to the end if you want it on that. Like I said, it's a giveaway, ESP Extreme. And you're going to find out why it's so extreme at the end. Casey, welcome to Carnivore Coach's Corner, my man.
Thank you. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Just finished up a back workout, actually, on the beach. Mondays are my day off. So instead of going to the gym, I work at a gym, right? And so 5 days a week, I work out right before my shift. And then whenever I don't have time for it, I finish it on my lunch break. So I get a little gymmed out, to say the least, by the end of the week. And so Mondays, like I said, it's my day off. There's a 2x4 down by the boardwalk that I like to do chin-ups on. It's like perfect for chin-ups. So I did 12 sets of that, 12 sets of 10. So that's 120 of them. And in between sets on the first 6, I supersetted single arm cable reverse band flies for the rear deltoid. Because here again, I think that the rear deltoid, you could classify it as either a back muscle or a shoulder muscle. So it's usually underdeveloped, and I think that it should be trained on both days. So every shoulder day, every back day, got to remember rear delts. Single arm banded tricep extensions, 6 sets of 12 for that. So I just skateboarded down to the boardwalk, and all I needed was the band to basically do my entire workout. Abs, I did a skateboard ab rollouts. So I take my skateboard, and I basically just like roll it out like an ab roller. So 6 sets of 12 on that. Posing, 5 minutes, did all my classic physique poses, getting ready for my next show, about to start prep for that. And skateboarding just like 30 minutes throughout the day. So I guess that's the only thing that you could really count as cardio. What are you doing today? You're getting ready for your evening group coming in for the resort?
Yeah. I've got some cleaning to do, some cooking to do, and just trying to get organized. Yeah, I really liked it when I was down there. The vibe down there along the beach was just very energetic, and it was obviously a good place to motivate you to be active and work out and stuff. That was cool. Good
deal. What's that I see you sipping on over there? You were talking about LaCroix, and that's like kind of gray area. It's like, is it carnivore? Is it not carnivore?
Oh, it's got some non-carnivore stuff in it. I'm not sure exactly what natural flavorings, but zero sweetener. It's kind of a crutch for me to not reach for other things that could be worse. I'm trying to do zero sweeteners now. I'm trying to go basically trying to work toward the Lion diet more and more all the time. And then in this, I've got some unflavored electrolytes from Keto Pro. So That's my beverages these days.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, when I did the Lion Diet strict, which I may or may not do ever again. I mean, I classify myself as doing like a dirty Lion Diet. So that's pretty much exclusively red meat in terms of protein. I do add eggs, protein powder, mainly because of the cost of red meat. And so like I find it much more cost effective to do that. And keto bricks. And as far as drinks, I'm drinking a liquid death right now. And this is a new flavor, so this is actually going to be a taste test. Do you like liquid death?
I've only had a couple of them. I don't remember. Do any of those have any sugar?
Just a little bit, man.
Yeah.
But the ingredients are pretty fucking clean in them, though. This one is called Mountain Don't. Oh, I get it. Instead of Mountain Dew. I didn't get that until now, actually. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, cherry obituary. That's a really good flavor. Just the regular unflavored ones are delicious as well, I think. I like them for band practices. And so we had a band practice last night with my punk rock band, and Diet Coke used to be what we would all drink, and smoking weed, right? I haven't smoked weed in over 7 months now. I haven't had any mind-altering substances at all, actually, ever since then. And it's going to stay that way the rest of my life, too. Life's a lot better sober. But like like during smoke breaks or, drink breaks or whatever, it's like I feel like that's still kind of part of the practice. And so I always feel like I have to be sipping on something. And yeah, man, these things are great. So it tastes like a diet Mountain Dew. The ingredients are, 4 grams of sugar. The ingredients are carbonated water, agave nectar, citric acid, natural flavor, and stevia leaf extract. So most of the sweetness is probably from stevia. And I've been drinking these all the time, and I don't feel like it takes me out of ketosis at all. Like, I don't get like a sugar crash or anything from it.
Yeah,
man,
I probably wouldn't be too worried about that, except for me, just that the flavor of the sweetness might become, kind of a gateway sort of a deal,
triggering.
Yeah, triggering for me to lose control. And that's where I'm trying to get with all aspects of my life, basically, is cutting out any sort of plant-derived seasoning or flavoring agent. And so I'm using salt only. And I think that, even if you're using something like garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, anything like that, just adding that to meat is enough to make it taste too good, where I think it's more of a dopamine reaction than what I should be getting. And so I'm trying to get my baseline dopamine to be as appropriate as possible so that I have a better control over the things that I eat and drink.
I think that's very wise that you're being that honest with yourself. I believe that there are just naturally a lot of addictive properties in some of those plants that you just mentioned that people aren't aware of. I haven't had pepper in a long time, any kind of pepper, ever since I heard Richard talking about how toxic it is and what it does to your joints and the inflammation that it causes, the high amount of oxalates that it has. So the only seasoning that I've been using, I think you noticed this when I was here, like we didn't season our ribeyes with anything at all. But the only seasoning that I've been using is I got some truffle seasoning from Christmas, which I think is like in the same family as mushrooms and like other funguses. And so I tolerate it very well, and it is delicious, man. Like I have that, and then just like a little bit of Redmond's real salt or Celtic sea salt, and bro, like it does not need anything else.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just an association or an expectation that we've set throughout our lives, and I think if you can get away from it, then your expectation is different, and you don't miss any of that stuff. It's just the same way as, getting rid of the carbs or, the sweets or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that was very wise what you said about sweeteners being a gateway drug back into carbohydrates. When I did the Lion Diet strict, which was absolutely nothing entering my body except red meat, water, and salt, no eggs, nothing with an artificial sweetener in it, nothing else, period. The hardest thing to give up was actually artificial sweeteners, and it was harder than giving up sugar. Like, I just craved it.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I would freak out if I didn't have it, like a nicotine addict without their nicotine. You know, the dumbest I think the dumbest decision that I've made, a lot of dumb decisions in my life, but the dumbest decision that I've ever made, or at least as of lately, was I started vaping back in November, and I only did it for a few weeks, and then I stopped doing it. But bro, it was like I needed it so bad, and it was so hard to quit because the few weeks that I was doing it, I did it a lot. I was doing it at band practices. That was kind of my gateway back into it, because we used to smoke weed on our band practices, and of course I don't do that anymore. And so I was like, all right, well, at least I get to smoke something. And the thing that I hate about nicotine is, like, it's just a stimulant, right? And so it doesn't relax you. It doesn't make me particularly feel any better. I just have to do it. I'm like, well, that's fucking stupid. Why did I open up this big can of worms? Like, I knew it was addictive in the first place. And so I haven't actually had nicotine cravings in quite some time now, but I think that it's wise for you to know what can be addictive and what can be a trigger or a gateway. And it's different for every person.
Yeah. Having the, for myself, if I accept, say, like a Diet Coke as being a pass, then I notice that I will overindulge on it. And if it's around me, I cannot control myself. And the way I look at it is, if anything has that sort of attraction, then it can't be good for you, because you should be able to resist it easily, and there may be a point where I get to where I can resist it, because it's not the chemical in the Coke or whatever it is that is the hard thing for me to give up. I believe it's the dopamine that I get from drinking that is what attracts me toward that. So I'm trying to get to the point where I can leave it alone. I can take it or leave it. And if I take it, it won't trigger that level of dopamine response. Yeah.
I think that's very well said, my man. Casey, would you please walk our listeners through how you grilled our ribeyes the last day that you were here? Those are some of the best ribeyes I've ever had in my entire life. And listeners, if you check out our YouTube channel, Skull Bells TV, we actually have a video on how to cook the perfect ribeye. But Casey fucking nailed it. How'd you do it, man?
Well, first it starts with a good quality piece of meat. So I was looking at those. The connective tissue in there wasn't too thick. It had good marbling throughout the muscle, and they were consistently cut from one end to the next, so you're not going to get an uneven cook. And I prefer 1.5 inches to 2 inches if I can find it at the store. But when I'm cooking my own at home, it's going to be probably closer to 3 inches thick, because I buy the whole roast and cut it myself. But it just starts with get your high heat. The grill that we were using, we couldn't quite get it to the temperature that we wanted, so I got it as hot as I could first, and then got a sear on it right over the flame, and then when I flipped it over and closed the lid so that it would work kind of as an oven, that'll keep the heat on the grate, and also drive the heat through the meat a little bit. We wanted ours pretty much rare, so I didn't leave it on there long enough to cook it through, but that was just a way for me to manage the heat level and try to get a sear on the outside without overcooking it. of course, the thicker it is, the more longer you can leave it. The thing you don't want is to get your heat too high and cook it directly over the heat. So what I would have done if they were thicker, if the grill got hotter, is maybe set up one side just wicked hot, get a good sear on it, and then move it over to the other side of the grill off of the heat, and then shut the lid. And then that would it would give me the sear, and it would give me an oven sort of effect to cook the steak without being without the fat rendering off and causing a flame up right onto the meat and then burning it or giving it an off taste.
Yep.
And that would be basically your more professional level of process.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, man. And if you over, there's a lot of reasons not to overcook a steak. First of all, because it just flat out ruins it, in my opinion, the taste, the flavor, the whole eating experience, everything, the whole dining experience. But it actually adds oxalates to the meat. And so the meat becomes less healthy, becomes less bioavailable. You cook the nutrients out of it, especially eggs. It's best to hard boil eggs for that reason, because then you actually trap the nutrients inside the shell, inside the egg, instead of cooking them out. But lately I've been just searing mine in an egg pan. So like last night. Oh, and by the way, listeners, I personally take a quick 10-second video of every single meal that I eat ever. It's for my accountability and for the accountability of all the clients that I'm working with. And then I take a picture of it. And so my text messages throughout the day, my phone's always blowing up, right? Is making sure that they're eating the right food, making sure that I'm eating the right food. And it keeps all of us accountable on the same page. But if you're just listening to this, and if you're not watching the video on YouTube or on Spotify, you can watch the video there. And it's actually a slideshow of every single meal that I've eaten since publishing the last podcast. It's just a commitment that I made a while ago. And I mean, like, this isn't a diet for me. This is my lifestyle. Like, I've literally dedicated my life to this because that's how passionate I am about it. So anyway, what I did last night was I've been cooking in coconut oil a lot because I just love how I love the texture that it gives meat. And there's also a high amount of C8 short chain fatty acids, MCTs, and so medium chain triglycerides. And these are a more fast acting and quickly digesting source of fat. So like if you think of carbohydrates as complex carbs, right? Like sweet potatoes, right? They take a long time to digest, and they give you energy like more consistently. Then you have sugar that's in fruits, right, which digests quite a bit more quickly. It'll give you energy a little bit faster, but not for as long. And then you have just like straight up sugar and maltodextrin, which hits you like that. And then you have a crash like immediately afterwards, right? So same idea with fats. Long chain fatty acids, you're going to find that in things like ribs, the meat that's in the animal tissue, like on those ribeyes. Like, that's not something to eat before workout. That's something to eat before bed, and then you're going to wake up with a whole bunch of energy, right? So that's like if you're training in the morning fasted, or if you're training way later in the day, then yeah, like a steak or ribeye would be a good idea. Coconut oil, the fats that's in like keto bricks too, also. Beef tallow, that's a rendered fat, and so that's different. That's gonna have more short chain fatty acids, and that energy is going to be more bioavailable and ready to use a little bit earlier. But what I love about coconut oil is it just doesn't get stored as fat. If you scroll down on our podcast a few episodes ago, over the summer in 2025, I did an experiment where I ate way more coconut oil than like anybody should be eating, just to see if I would get fat, and I didn't. I kept losing weight for my contest prep. So all that being said, I love coconut oil. I think it's classified as a fruit, so it's not really a vegetable. It doesn't have a lot of the plant toxicity issues that you'll get with like other seed oils. So I found this steal at Ralph's, actually, that same grocery store that you and I both went to, man. And they had it for $10.99 a pound, which I thought was a pretty screaming deal. It's like the cheapest that I've seen red meat around here, actually. And they were thinly sliced ribeyes. But yeah, I just sear them for like 20 seconds on one side, 20 seconds on the other side, salt and a little bit of truffle seasoning. Oh my God, dude, that is a 5-star meal. 5-star meal, seriously. And then I just leave the grease, I just leave the grease and whatever cooks out of it in the pan, cook my eggs in it, And I could do that every night the rest of my life and be happy, totally happy. Like I never feel like I'm missing out on anything. And everybody at work is like, you never eat fish, you never eat chicken. Like you're on a more restricted version of the carnivore diet, which is like already a really restrictive diet. And I'm like, no, like I never feel restricted ever. I mean, I'm drinking something that like basically tastes like Mountain Dew. So like, I guess I'm cheating a little bit there. In terms of like candy and sweets and stuff, I mean, Keto Bricks totally fills my cravings for like any kind of candy or anything like that. And I eat one of those every single day. So no, life is good. I'm not complaining at all. And I could do this every day the rest of my life. There's nothing wrong with chicken. There's nothing wrong with fish. But if I had the choice between that and steak, I mean, steak wins every day of the week, right?
Oh, for sure.
Cool, man. All right. So we trained legs when you got in, man, when you got off the plane, like first day when you got here. So how did you have energy for that with no carbs, bro? And what did you eat before our workout?
I think I was fasted that day.
What? No food? Where'd you get your energy? I'm being sarcastic in case.
Yeah. Well, you don't need exogenous carbs. You make the ones you need, so no problems there. And I think I have enough energy stored around my gut to get me through a couple of workouts.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite exercise that we did when we were training at EOS, the gym that I work at?
I like that leg press machine we were on.
Horizontal leg press. I love that.
Yeah, I've got a knee issue I've been working on, so it's been a little while since I have had a larger amount of weight on my legs, and it felt pretty good.
Cool. Piggybacking off of that, and there's a video demonstration on how to use that machine actually on our YouTube channel, everybody. So if you want, go check that out. Most of my videos that I've been publishing lately have actually been music related, but yeah, we have a demonstration, a walkthrough on how to use the horizontal leg press machine. It's a fun exercise. Listener question number 1. I think this is a good time to address this one. Juliana from San Diego would like to ask, you don't eat carbs, so what do you eat for quick energy if you need energy quickly? Because fat takes longer to digest, right? What are your thoughts, my man?
I don't know. I think if you're already in a ketogenic state, you already have the energy. There is no need for a quick energy burst. Mm-hmm. I think you're gonna, you can have caffeine and things like that are going to take you to another level, but I think you'll feel better without it, because obviously everybody knows what it feels like to overconsume caffeine or to take a pre-workout that has a lot of stimulants in it. Mm-hmm. You can do it, but you're not going to feel great. It'll give you energy, but you won't feel good. At least that's my experience.
Yeah, definitely can increase blood pressure and anxiety. So I haven't had personally, I don't consume any caffeine until afternoon, and I'll get to why here in a second. But my thoughts on that are that humans are the only species on planet Earth that think that we need to go out of our way and go find something to eat for quick energy. Every other animal on planet Earth intuitively knows that if it's tired, it just needs to take a fucking nap. Energy should be produced naturally by natural hormones that are stimulated by your enthusiasm for doing things like exercising, playing. A proper human diet consisting mainly of red meat from ruminant animals will provide all the energy that you need, in my experience, without the highs and lows that you experience when you're on a high carb diet. I coach an average of 3 to 4 members at my gym every day, and I do my own work. And sometimes I do some of the exercises with them, like especially if we're doing like some HIIT cardio at the end or something, kettlebell swings, battle ropes, sit-ups. You can do HIIT cardio with sit-ups actually. And so that's kind of some of my favorite ways to do that to, help members that are trying to lose fat sooner rather than later. But I do my own workout 30 minutes before my shift starts. And whatever I don't have time for, I just finish that on my lunch break. I don't eat lunch on my lunch break. Everybody that works with me knows that. So I don't eat anything the entire day until I get home. And my energy levels are very, very consistent throughout the entire day. I never crash. So I start every day with the Alcoholics Anonymous 3rd step prayer, and I pray it throughout the day as needed. God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them would take away my difficulties. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them would bear witness to those that I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. And actually, I don't say always at the end. I just say for the next 24 hours. But that's a prayer that gets me into the right mindset, keeps my focus and energy directed to where it needs to be. So I think that we need to look for natural solutions to our energy deficiencies and when we're not feeling motivated, rather than just looking at food as a quick source of energy. Before you look at carbs for the answer, ask yourself if you're grounding and examine your breath work, right? Oxygen and electrons fuel your cell mitochondria with the most basic sources of energy that your body needs. And if you consume too much caffeine, then your body doesn't think it needs to produce its own energy hormones as well. So that's one of the reasons that I like to wait until later in the day. I wait until usually about 1 or 2 o'clock p.m. And then when I feel like I'm starting to get burned out, I drink either part of a pre-workout or a sugar-free energy drink, actually. And I know I should hand in my carnivore card for that. I'm an inauthentic coach. But I cut out coffee. I don't drink coffee anymore, mainly because of the acrylamide buildup in my joints. I've noticed that since I've taken it out, my recovery is a lot better. And I don't have near as much muscle soreness since I stopped drinking coffee. And there's a lot of bad psychological effects that if you struggle with mental health at all, there's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't be drinking coffee for that reason. I can't explain it very well. Richard can explain it a lot better, but Coach Richard is the guy that pretty much sold me on cutting out coffee. So so as soon as I feel like I'm starting to crash a little bit, I drink an energy drink, and then bam, it hits you like crack. like you get a ton of energy just all at once. And so that's how I like to do it. Like I said, breath work, deep breathing. I have a ton of energy right now. I'm feeling really energetic, and I'm going to skateboard all the way across town right after this and go have a meeting, skateboard back. I'm not worried about my energy levels at all. Mainly because today was one of the few days that I actually had a chance to go jump into the ocean. And when you when you jump in the ocean, when you get your feet in sand or in grass or anything that's not rubber, right? There's rubber between humans and the ground all the time. You're either wearing shoes, or you're in a car, or you're in an office, and there's something that is preventing the flow of electricity from going in from the ground into your body like it naturally should. Therefore, we're not getting the electrons that we need, that are the most basic source of energy for our cell mitochondria. So here again, instead of looking at a bowl of cereal or a granola bar or a bagel or a piece of toast or something, or a source of carbs for quick energy, there's a lot of other boxes that you need to check before you know that it's because you're deficient on carbs. And if you're deficient on carbs, and if that's the reason that you don't have good energy, then you're not fat adapted. And I would encourage you to get fat adapted, because then you don't have to worry about stuff like that anymore. Last thing on that is stimulants. You already brought this up, man. But here again, I call myself a dirty carnivore because I do enjoy pre-workout, flavored creatine, electrolytes, herbal tea, sugar-free energy drinks. Dude, C8 has this, C4 has one called Cereal Killer, but it's spelled like cereal, like a bowl of cereal. And it tastes, I kid you not, it tastes just like Fruity Pebbles. It is so damn good. So good, man. I'm like, wow. Yeah. And it's got beta alanine in it too. And so it's actually a pretty decent pre-workout, in a can. And then Keto Bricks. So that's why I said I'm a dirty carnivore. So send me to carnivore jail if you think I should be. But I do believe that there is a time and a place for caffeine if used properly. So here again, I never consume it until about noon. My favorite pre-workout is actually something that we have several in stock of too. It's called ESP Extreme by Metabolic Nutrition. I've got all my personal trainers that I oversee at our gym, and my general manager actually as well, hooked on it. It's not for anyone that's sensitive to caffeine, but if you do like pre-workout and you do tolerate them well, then listen through to the end, and we'll talk more about caffeine and how to give. And we're going to give away one of these tubs of ESP Extreme. But I guess while we're on the topic of caffeine too, though, I did some research on it that I thought was very interesting, and I thought might be helpful too. So this is, I'm holding up for our listeners that aren't watching the video, I'm holding up my NASM, Academy of Sports, National Academy of Sports Medicine, personal training, personal fitness training textbook. It's gigantic. And I got it to study to get recertified for my personal training certification, because it's been a while since I've been certified. Didn't realize it expired. But the seventh edition is it's actually pretty damn good in terms of what it teaches in terms of nutrition. They're a lot less biased than they used to be when it comes to controversial topics like well, they still need to get their facts straight on fiber. That's for damn sure, and I'll point out why here later. But like cholesterol and how much fat we should be consuming, and just the food pyramid in general, looks a lot better than compared to what it used to be. But caffeine is the world's most popular supplement. Stimulants, including caffeine, increase psychological and metabolic activity. Caffeine is primarily used for energy and endurance and to increase metabolic rate. Caffeine increases wakefulness, attention, and focus by chemically blocking receptors that create the sense of feeling tired. However, it also causes an adrenaline release, which increases metabolic rate and substantially leads to more energy, ATP, being metabolized. The adrenaline release is also responsible for improving pain tolerance and mobilizing fat stores. So, in other words, it makes you think. What it says is blocking those receptors. It blocks your adenosine receptors, more specifically. We've talked about this before on the podcast as well. And essentially what that does is it makes you think that you have energy when you don't have energy, or it makes you think that you're less tired than you actually are. So next paragraph, this is the next thing that jumped out at me. Due to increasing metabolic rate, fatty acid mobilization, and satiety, caffeine is potentially beneficial for weight loss. I would agree with that. This one I thought was interesting. Caffeine is not well supported for improving strength performance. So another reason why I don't consume it until later in the day is because I never consume caffeine when I'm weightlifting. I only do it when I'm doing abs or when I'm doing something later in the day that I just need to have more energy for, and I'm kind of tired at that point. If I'm going to pack my base around town and go do a gig or something, it's like, that's a good time to have energy. It's going to mobilize fat cells, and I'm going to just like feel more awake, especially if it's later in the day, or like, kind of in the evening, but not too close before bed, because I don't want to fuck up my sleep. But it also restricts blood flow. So I won't get as good of a pump if I'm taking caffeine before a workout. So play around with it. Try having caffeine before a workout. Try having it later in the day like I have. And at the end of the day, whatever works best for you is what you should be doing. Caffeine in dietary supplements is often found as caffeine anhydrous. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But if you looked on the back of it and looked at and analyzed ingredients of a pre-workout, you've probably seen this before. But that's nearly 100% caffeine. There's also caffeine citrate, dicaffeine malate, and caffeine pterostibuline, and it starts with a P. So yeah, like I don't have any idea how to pronounce that word. But these are all different types of caffeine that are released at different rates. And so I used to think that there was like, when you look at the back of a pre-workout, there's like 3 different types of caffeine. I used to think that that was because they're just trying to hide how much caffeine is actually in it, because then it's like 300 grams after you add them all up. But the reason for that is because like the caffeine, like the pre-workout that I have here, like there's different types of caffeine in it. And the pre-workout that we sell at my work, N2G, another very good pre-workout, Nutrition to Go. It has, I believe, 2 different types of caffeine in it. It's not to hide what's actually in it. It's so that you have one that hits you hard and then one that is released a little bit more slowly. So it would be like having a sweet potato with some honey on it. So you have quick energy, but you have energy throughout the rest of the day as well. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I didn't know there was more than one type of caffeine.
Mm-hmm. We trained chest and back the last day that you were here, bro. What was your favorite exercise that we did? And what's one thing that you learned from our workout at Fitness West in Pacific Beach?
I like that unilateral cable row. I thought that was interesting, and doing I like the changing of the angle and the pyramiding the weights. It was I expected it to be a little harder at first, so I kind of underestimated myself. But I like those, the rowing motions. It's one of those exercises that really gets me amped up, and I like to, it energizes me to do more.
Yeah. We have a YouTube video in progress for this one, and so we're going to teach just the basic form of what this exercise should look like. But it's a cable row with a high pulley, and so you're pulling it down. So it's kind of a mix between a lat pull down and a row. And it's for your lower lat inserts. It's for your lats, not your upper back. And it's a great exercise. But the way that we did it for a warm up is, and I'm not going to put this on YouTube because it would just be way too long and complicated of a video to be able to show how it works. But I'm going to quickly summarize it right now. What we did is try this on your next back workout. Okay. So you set the pulley all the way up high, and you pick a weight that you can easily do 20 reps with, right? Like you're just going for a really good pump that first set. So you pull it down, pull with your elbow, right? You're just using one of those D rings. And so it's like a pull down and a row, but you pull the cable down and kind of to the side so that you're really getting a good lat isolation and disengaging your biceps. And so you're not making an arm workout out of it. You get 20 reps on one side. Should take about a minute for that first set. And then you're going to go for a minute on the other, on your left side. So the whole set takes about 6 or 7 minutes without any rest. Okay. So you get 20 reps on your weak side. And always start with your weak side. For me, my right arm is my weaker arm. So I do as many reps as I can on my right side. And then when I can't do any more, then I do 20 reps on my left side. Okay. Then without any rest, you don't need to rest because it's unilateral exercise. So one muscle rests while the other one's working. So I lower the pulley one notch, and then I do 16 reps on my right side and 16 reps on my left side. So you subtract 4 reps every time. It's also a little bit lower. So now you're using a little more upper back. So you're getting a little help from like your traps and your rhomboids and those muscles like around your shoulder blades and your spine, right? So you do 16 reps on your right side, 16 reps on your left side. Then you're going to lower the pulley by 1 notch, and you're going to do 12 reps on your right side, 12 reps on your left side. Stop, lower it another notch. So now it's getting lower, and you're getting now starting to get to where it's like a high seated cable row, right? And now you do 8 reps on your left side, on your right side, 8 sets on your left side. Lower it one more time, and so it's just like right above parallel. And you do 4 reps on your right side, 4 reps on your left side. And here again, you're increasing the weight every time. So if it gets too heavy to get full clean reps, then you can cheat and pull it back with by engaging your glutes and your hamstrings better. And by the end of that 6 or 7 minutes, your back is ready to go. And it's fried. So take like a minute or 2 before your next workout, whether it's rows, but I mean you should be ready for any compound lift after that. What'd you think of that, dude? Like, were you pretty gassed after you did that set?
Well, like I say, I kind of underestimated myself. I could have gone heavier, but I really enjoyed the lift.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the gym just overall? Fitness West, pretty cool gym, right?
It was cool. They were actually really friendly there. I've met the one guy that checked me in there, and he was really nice.
Yeah. Cool, man. Joey from San Diego would like to ask, what do you eat for snacks on the carnivore diet if you can't eat granola bars or anything from like a 7-Eleven?
I
What's your
don't
say?
generally snack at all. If I'm not, if I can't eat a whole meal, I'm not hungry enough to eat at all. But when I do, if I need something for convenience, I generally I make pemmican bars at home, and
Oh yeah, dude, those pemmican bars that you sent me, wow,
I know I
so
need to.
so good.
I wanted to bring some down when I came, but I need to make another batch. But yeah, I think I've got the recipe. I've tweaked it a little bit, walking it into perfection. And so, but yeah, if I eat one of those, I don't eat just one generally. It's a really good way. Like, say if your steak isn't big enough to uh, get you to the point of satiety that you're trying to hit, you can just throw one of those on top, and that'll usually get you there. But since my job is pretty busy, there's a lot of times I don't have time to prep myself a meal, or if I'm traveling, I can just take those along, and I'll eat 3 or 4 of them at once. And I think that would equate, to like a couple pounds of raw meat. So it really hits, you know, it's really high nutrient for what you're eating. And they're about the size of a granola bar, but they're just dense
Definitely.
meat, yeah, and fat.
We had, I believe we had the inventor of carnivore bars on our podcast like a year or two ago. I'll double check on that, but we but carnivore bars. It's actually called carnivore bar, and it's a pemmican bar. And what does pemmican mean, too? By the way, man.
I think it's an Indian word.
Okay.
I'm not sure how it translates exactly.
Okay. Well, at any rate, it's a meat based like energy bar, like a protein bar, basically, is what it's like. With
Meat, fat, and salt basically is all you need. Traditionally, they would put things like dried berries in there and stuff, and honey for flavor. But we're not looking. We're not walking across the prairie every day or whatever. We're not as active as they were. We don't need to get our. We're not starving. We have all of the meat at our fingertips. We're much more sedentary. We don't need to be adding things like that into our diets. If you can if you can tolerate it. But for myself, I like to just go bare minimum.
Yep. The carnivore bar is has a delicious texture. To be completely honest, I think the ones that you made had a better texture too. These things are not cheap. There's not a big profit margin in them either. So they are expensive. But for a snack, if you're like wanting to just keep things as clean and as pure and natural as you can, I haven't found anything that has the ingredients that a carnivore bar does. If you go on my Instagram profile too, at Colt Milton, I have a link with a discount code for that. So go grab some if that's something that you are interested in. But that's like probably your best choice. Now, other choices, just like to be more realistic, right? One more thing that I want to say is that snacking shouldn't really be something that you're doing if you're on the carnivore diet and doing it right. There's not a lot of I don't think any carnivorous animals really that are snacking, and snacking is usually more of a form of entertainment than it is like a need to actually eat food, right? But other snack options, if you're, if snacking is just something that you enjoy, or like if you are still getting hungry throughout the day, like your satiety signals should be much more relaxed, and you shouldn't really be hungry throughout the day if you're not eating carbohydrates. But Joey's meal plan, actually, the gentleman that asked this question. So I have him start to finish. This is not a pure carnivore plan, right? But this is just, I meet everybody where they're at, and that doesn't mean that you're just red meat. If you hire Coach Colt, it's red meat, water, salt, period. No, not at all. I understand that everybody lives in the real world and has certain foods that they just enjoy having, right? So his breakfast is an Oikos 000 Greek yogurt. You can get those at pretty much any grocery store, and those are pretty damn good. They're low carb and no fat, and so I have him putting 3 ounces of walnuts in that. Good source of magnesium and quite a bit of fat too. And it's omega-3s. And so it's not going to cause any inflammation issues like nuts that have a high amount of omega-6, which is like peanuts and almonds, right? Dirty nuts is what I call those. For lunch, he's used to having turkey sandwiches. So I have him doing a turkey, bacon, avocado mayo, and iceberg lettuce wrap. Iceberg lettuce here again, it's actually better for you than like spinach and other greens because it doesn't have all the anti-nutrients. It's not going to leach and steal the nutrients that you're getting from the bacon, the avocado, and the turkey, which is really what your body needs if it's going to build and maintain lean muscle mass. So that's what he has for lunch. And then for snack, it's a scoop of either Metabolic Nutrition whey protein powder, which you can get off of our, I'll put a link to where you can get that in the show notes of this podcast. Any issues finding it, just message either of us and we got you. We're having issues with our website, which is why it's not on the website right now. That and skim milk. I know I tried to talk him out of it, but he just likes to taste the skim milk. And so that's okay. You can get your fats other places. For dinner, ground or beef mince, ground beef, and then an ounce of butter with that. So by the end of the day, it's 150 grams of protein, 50 grams of carbs, and 190 grams of fat. So most of his energy is coming from fat, right? And so now his energy levels are a lot more consistent throughout the day. He's reporting that his satiety is a lot better. And then I put optional substitutions at the bottom. And so I do this with pretty much everybody's meal plan, right? So he can swap out beef jerky. He can for the protein shake, he can swap out chicharrones, that is pork rinds. And yeah, I mean, pork rinds are certainly not the healthiest thing on the planet, but they're actually not that bad for you if you compare them to what's in a granola bar or what's in what most people would have for snacks throughout the day. And so it's pretty meat based, despite that the seed oils that are probably used in them. But there's lots of pork rind brands. I think Epic has one actually that has, from what I understand, pretty clean ingredients. So I'm also going to pull up Kyle's meal plan, another meal plan that I just wrote. And so same idea, he's somebody that likes to have snacks, but he's reporting better levels of satiety as well. And so snacks are just kind of becoming, usually it's just something that you do in the beginning phases when you're brand new to a meat-based diet. But breakfast, bacon and eggs. Lunch, ground beef and white rice. So we're still keeping a little bit of carbs in. He's not completely zero carbs yet. I mean, if you're losing weight and you're feeling great and you don't need to cut out carbs, then just reduce them, right? And then when that stops working, then cut out more carbs. That's always my advice. You don't need to just go straight from a high carb diet to a zero carb diet overnight. That might not be the best thing for you. Your body might not be ready for that yet. You might not emotionally be ready for that either, right? Snack is Metabolic Nutrition, whey protein powder. Peanut butter is my favorite flavor too, just for anybody who's curious. That and mixing it with vitamin D whole milk. And then for dinner, it's a ribeye and butter. And his substitutions could be a keto brick or eggs, hard-boiled eggs. So that's my thoughts on snacks. Anything else that comes off the top of your head, my guy?
You can, if you are feeling snacky, if it's maybe you have a snack while you're watching TV in the evening or something, a lot of people just feel like they need to be putting something in their mouth. You can take a little slice of butter or a pinch of salt or something like that, that might, kind of satisfy that little urge. But because a lot of times it's just you're not really hungry. It's just a behavior that you've learned.
You're bored.
So you can find alternatives to that behavior, and eventually you'll realize you don't need it.
Way better than how I said it, man. Very, very good. Very good advice. Thank you. What's up, carnivores? Coach Colt here with a friendly reminder not to overtrain your muscles or your mind for that matter. So we're going to take a break for just a couple minutes. I'm going to share with you something inspiring and then something entertaining for a second. Then we'll get right back into the meat. Every week we feature a listener inspiring success story from one of you. We call it L.I.S.S for short, not to be confused with low intensity steady state cardio. This week's listener-inspiring success story is from Robyn, all the way from Marion, Kansas. We've been working together for a couple years now, and you definitely need to follow her on Instagram if you're looking for some inspiration, because her weight loss journey has been absolutely incredible. Very, very good example of what it looks like to follow a meat-based way of living for not just yourself, but also for your entire family. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Robyn Miller.
Coach Colt, I just wanted to send a little love your way and tell you how grateful and thankful I am that I got the opportunity to work with you on my weight loss journey. I know I'm not a typical client for you, but you do amazing work, and with your help and guidance, I have been able to maintain 90 pounds of weight lost. I'm still thriving. My mental health has never been better. My energy levels are amazing. And I've continued to maintain the carnivore lifestyle. My husband and I are thriving, and we are so incredibly thankful for all of the knowledge that you taught us along the way.
Thank you for submitting your success story, Robyn. If you are a listener with an inspiring success story, just send a video or an audio either to Rich or to myself, Instagram, email, whatever is easiest for you, and we will get your message out so that everybody else can hear it. The carnivore community is growing across the globe. The more we all share what's working for us, the more we will all learn and grow together. And in other news, there is still no shortage of fraudulent coaches online. So please beware of who you listen to on social media. Clowns, bellends, blokes, whatever you want to call them. Here's another deceptive Instagram reel that was sent to me by one of our listeners. Keep them coming, guys. Somebody needs to say something to these fake coaches that are spreading lies. So once again, send me whatever video has got you confused on your facts, and Rich and I will help you pick it apart. Here we go. Listen to this.
Man, this looks good.
Attaboy, look at all that protein.
Bro, didn't you just get done wrestling?
Nice work. My son's a wrestler too.
Yeah, look how good this meal looks.
Beautiful. Very, very good. So post-workout is actually when your body is going to be producing most of that testosterone, IGF-1, human growth hormone, and all that meat that you're eating is going to encourage more production of those anabolic hormones.
Well, if you were an influencer, sure, but you're an athlete.
What's wrong with it?
You need to reduce the fat and protein and up the carb.
Time out. Never ever tell a kid to eat less protein post-workout if that's what he feels like he needs. And carbohydrates are going to suppress secretion of human growth hormone post-workout too.
Let me help you.
Kids are smarter than you think. My son and I both have conditions that make us not tolerate carbs very well. Another reason why there's a lot of us athletes that perform better without any carbohydrates. But if he is going to eat carbs, those are pretty good choices because white rice and raw organic honey are both low in lectins and oxalates, and so that'll help minimize any oxidative stress that he might encounter from eating those carbs in the first place. Just make sure that the honey is real honey and doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup in it, because that would block absorption of 3 of the major amino acids that he's already getting from that meat.
Follow for more if you want to train at your best.
And better yet, if he really does want carbs, that should be his pre-workout meal, not his post-workout meal.
There you go, everybody. Can you believe that? All right, on a brighter note, we're getting back into the meat with Casey Aiken. Listener question number 3. Morgan from San Diego is asking, how do you get enough calories when you go keto? First of all, if you're not losing weight, then there's no reason to be tracking calories. And even if you are losing, if your goal is to try to lose weight, then in my opinion, counting calories is not the best way to go about doing that at all. It was invented to be, the reason that calories were invented in the first place was to compare fuel efficiency between steam engines. And somehow that got twisted into using it for nutrition, and tracking calories does not account for the thermic effect of food. It doesn't account for metabolism. It doesn't account for ketogenesis, which increases your metabolic rate by 30%. There's a lot of other factors that come into play when you start trying to track calories, right? Different types of fats. I don't completely understand how this works yet, but I can certainly attest to this from my own experience. But if I'm consuming the same amount of fat and I'm eating like a lot of dairy versus eating fats that are easily metabolized and easily digested, like coconut oil, I'll pack on fat by eating dairy. And the way that Richard describes it is it's because it gets metabolized through a different pathway than the fats that you get from like rendered fats or other short chain fatty acid fat sources. So long story short, the types of fat that you get from dairy are inherently more easily digested, more easily stored as fat. And so there's so many factors that come into play that tracking calories is, in my opinion, extremely unwise and very outdated. And people just need to stop doing it. So I track macros with everybody. I track protein, carbs, and fats, but never ever calories. We call it the C word, actually. But to answer your question, Morgan, on eating enough food, right? I'm assuming that you're just wondering, since you're not eating carbs, like where does the rest of your food come from? I mean, if you're eating ribeyes and chuck steak is the poor man's ribeye, right? If you're really on a budget and can't afford that, I mean, a lot of what I do most of the time actually is just frozen burger patties from the store, from the grocery store. It's like the cheapest source of red meat that I can possibly find, actually. And the 70-30 burgers are definitely the cheapest ones. They have the highest amount of fat in them, and just cost per pound, it's like the cheapest way that I found to do it. But I mean, those are pretty dense, dude. Like there's a lot of protein and a lot of fat in those. And if you're having butter with it, I mean, like you shouldn't have a problem eating enough food. You probably don't feel as full or you don't feel like physically as full because you're not eating like as much fiber, and you're not eating like as many like filling foods in terms of volume. But if your body doesn't need it, then why would you just try to continue to eat as much as you were before? If you miss volume, then eggs, just eat more eggs, right? Bone broth, that's another delicious voluminous food. But stuffing yourself with carbs and with fiber comes with a lot of digestive issues and a lot of consequences that we'll get to in a second. So what are your thoughts, man? How do you eat enough when you go keto? Like, do you ever see anybody that goes keto and then just like is lacking in nutrition at all?
Oh no, if anything, anything that's not animal based is only going to take away, even if it's just a fiber supplement, it's going to block the natural bioavailability of the nutrients in the meat. So you really can't improve upon going strictly animal-based meat, basically meat and fat. So, and if you need to try to, fill up, and I've even on a budget or whatever, I've taken and eat a ribeye steak and then brown some meat and eat that, just keep throwing more things at it. You're like, eat your expensive cut and then eat some cheap stuff too, to make sure that you're getting enough. So as far as satiety, I have no issues there. I just eat more.
Yeah, I think that's very good advice. If I look like I'm semi-distracted right now, it's because I'm going live on Instagram. I'm going to unbox my Keto Brick package that just came in, because I think that Keto Bricks are an excellent way to get enough food if that's something that you struggle with on keto. So
yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like even if you you'll eat the Keto Bricks or even hot dogs, like Ken Berry says, even hot dogs are far better than what you would get on a standard American diet. So, you can go prioritize the meat, and then, if you're going to have a hot dog or you need the variety or a Keto Brick or whatever to complete the meal, then add that.
Definitely. Yeah. Keto Bricks for that reason are great for cutting, and they're great for lean bulking too. they're not going to be stored as fat if your carbohydrates are like, you have to try to overeat, I think, for these things to be stored as fat. So like I said, I am going live on Instagram, so I'm going to do the majority of the talking for the next minute, and unbox this package of absolute deliciousness. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, this is like one of the best days ever. One of the best days of the month for sure when these packages come in. But what do you think of the knife that I'm using to open this? What's up, Instagram? I'm unboxing my Keto Brick package that just came in. So definitely an exciting day. And actually this time I had to avoid anything that has dark coloring in it, like anything fudge related, because I just had some dental work done. So like my teeth can stain very easily at the moment. But yeah, let's see what we got here. I got a whole bunch of nootropic icing. There's a link to these on my Instagram profile too, by the way, and I'll put a link in the show notes to where you can get these. But it's a light, like I said, I just got all light colored ones. This one, the nootropic icing, is a collaboration that Keto Brick did with Keto Brains with their coffee creamer. And so there's lots of nootropic ingredients in these bad boys. We talked about this brick quite a bit, actually, with the inventor Robert Sykes on our podcast a couple episodes ago. So if you scroll down on Spotify, Carnivore Coaches Corner, you'll be able to see them there. The ingredients are grass-fed beef tallow, whey protein, whey protein concentrate, stevia leaf extract, guar gum, it's just a preservative, so it doesn't go bad. Lecithin, which is sunflower, Keto Brains nootropic, which is C8 MCT powder, coconut milk powder, lion's mane mushroom, L-theanine, and alpha size alpha GPC, MCT powder, and ancient sea salt. Like, some pretty damn clean ingredients. So if you're on a meat-based diet, like, you're really not compromising it at all. So like I said, got a bunch of those. White chocolate peppermint. Oh my God, these came out around Christmas and they were so good that they just like never stopped making them. So like I said, I'm eating one of these every single day and have been for years and probably will the rest of my life. That's how much I love these things. Carnivore cake pop. It's just like an actual cake pop, like that you get at Starbucks. That's what it tastes. That's what it tastes like. I baked a keto cake a couple months ago from a friend of mine, very good friend that is celebrating 33 years of sobriety. So I just posted that on my Instagram as well. But yeah, that's all I got in this batch, and I got another package coming in a couple days. So anyway, what I just said sounds good, then check it out. Links in my bio. All right, thanks everybody. All right, and with that, I'm gonna post that on Instagram. Share it. Cool, man. Any other thoughts before we get into the next question?
I don't think so.
Cool. Art from San Diego. How do you get fiber if you're not eating plants? Don't you need fiber for regular bowel movements and a healthy digestive system? What do you have to say on that?
I think that could be a separate podcast all on its own. There's so many lies wrapped up in that. No is the answer.
Yeah, you are very much correct in saying that. So back in 2004, I actually did lots and lots of research on fiber. So I'm going to summarize it all pretty quick right now. This is just going to be a quick summary of what we've already covered. But yeah, go back to session 61, where Sarah Lawrence and myself took a deep dive into this very controversial, very contraindicated topic. We interviewed several of my bodybuilding athletes about their experience after they removed fiber from their diets permanently. So definitely scroll down in your podcast app and go check that one out, because I think you'll be shocked with what you hear. I hear this a lot. But Colt, my doctor says that I need to eat a certain amount of fiber every day. So I'm not going to give medical advice or tell you not to listen to your doctor, because that's certainly outside of my scope of practice. However, I do encourage you to do your own research and to keep a few pieces of common sense in mind. Okay. Number one is that most doctors are well-intentioned, I would like to think, but can only teach what they've been taught in school. That's what they know, right? And what's taught in school is horrifyingly unbiased. Here again, I just got recertified as a personal trainer through NASM, which is quite an extensive course. Actually, it was at least 3 times more information than any college course that I've ever taken. But here's an example. I think that I just found it. I was kind of flipping through my textbook earlier, but these sites when it's recommended that you have a certain amount of dietary fiber, look at who's funding those studies. For example, page 264 of my personal training manual says, U.S. Dietary Guidelines recommend approximately 25 to 28 grams of fiber per day for women aged 19 to 50 years and 30 to 40 grams of fiber per day for men aged 19 to 50 years. The source that did this study, I don't even know what the study is, but just look at the source, okay? And they don't explain why you need this amount of fiber. It just says that this is what's recommended. It's funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's completely biased. How can you trust a source that is selling you fiber to be the ones that dictate how much fiber you should be consuming? I think that we need to start doing our own research on matters like this. Would you agree with that, Casey?
Yeah, for sure. There's a conflict of interests all over the place when it comes to everything you find in the grocery stores.
Definitely. Here's 2 people that are very much responsible for the food pyramid that we have today and for the fiber recommendations and the carbohydrate recommendations that we have. So you probably know these names. They're like household names, right? But the first one is Sylvester Graham, 1974 to 1851. So like graham crackers, right? That's what they're named after. So this guy was a Presbyterian minister. He believed in strict abstinent practices. He practiced and prescribed a high fiber vegetarian diet to control lust. That's where the whole idea that you should eat lots of fiber and lots of vegetables really stemmed from in the first place. So graham flour, this is coarsely ground wheat made into graham bread, graham muffins, graham crackers, eventually led to today's sugar-filled children's cookies. And I have sources for this too, if you're curious on where I got this information and did this research. And so I'm going to plug this in the show notes as well. And like I said, we talked about this in a lot more detail on session number 61 with Sarah Lawrence. He died at the age of 57. All right. And then the second guy is John Harvey Kellogg. And he was born in 1852, died in 1943. He was very well known. As a matter of fact, here's a fact about him. Very well known for being anti-sex. He never made love to his wife. I won't get into the detail, but he advocated for physical changes to developing boys and girls to discourage them from masturbation and the ability to enjoy sex optimally when they had become adults. And there's a study that I have that I found that when I was researching this as well. So here again, links to these studies. If you want to do more reading on it, go for it. And I'll show you where it's at. But his proposed diet was a coarse vegetarian diet, 1 to 3 ounces of bran daily, paraffin oil with every meal. And this was used as a laxative because people that were on Kellogg's diet were experiencing large stools and hemorrhoid issues. Imagine that. That's one of the biggest things that I noticed when I cut out fiber from my diet perfectly is I used to get hemorrhoids and they went away permanently. I haven't had one ever since cutting it out altogether permanently in 2023. If we go out to dinner or something, like I'll have a salad here and there or something. But I mean, especially if that's the only keto-free option. But other than that, zero fiber. How much fiber do you consume on a regular basis, Casey?
Basically, next to zero. I'll like you said, occasionally, like the first night we went out when I first got to San Diego, I had a little bit of a side salad because there was we couldn't get a steak big enough, and so basically it was kind of just a filler. But it's such an occasional thing that I don't really add plants. But I've cut out all forms of crackers, breads, and cereals that might give us significant amount of fiber.
Yeah, good deal. Page 2 of the book, Fiber Menace. Amazing book. Such an incredible book. Written by Konstantin Monoskirky. As any nutritionist will tell you, and as Graham and Kellogg undoubtedly observe themselves, the decline of libido, functional impotence, and infertility are among the very first symptoms of chronic protein deficiencies prevalent among vegans. For similar reasons, numerous religions prescribe vegan diets for monks and for nuns. It isn't as radical a solution as clitoral mutilation or punitive circumcision, but it's equally as effective. The Kellogg Company spent over $3.5 billion on promotional expenditures. Fiber has risen in popularity and consumption ever since. He also says, if you believe, the same author says, if you believe that the introduction of fiber into the American diet came about as a result of thorough academic research, methodical clinical investigation, and penetrating peer reviews, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it didn't. It's actually based on profane sacrilege, fanatical misogynist, I don't even know what that word means, medieval prudeness, common quackery, crass commercialism, incomprehensible medical incompetence, and by the legal standards of today, negligence and malpractice. So well said. My experience here again, I've been fiber free ever since 2023. Most days have been zero fiber. Some days just like a couple grams, basically just from a keto brick, and that's it. And the very, very few occasions that I do eat vegetables. Bowel movements never occur later in the day. It's always first thing in the morning, one and done. I grew up suffering occasional hemorrhoids, haven't had one ever since. My eating disorder. I used to have an eating disorder, right? And we've talked about this on the podcast quite a bit. But I used to have uncontrollable binging and purging. This is back when I started bodybuilding, and I was consuming a lot of fiber because that's what everybody else that was bodybuilding told me to do. They said, that's how you're going to feel full, and it's going to help you stay full. No, it didn't. It just made me bloated and then hungrier later. And your body's, just the fact that your gastrointestinal system is trying to digest that fiber, it's actually leaching nutrients, the real nutrition that you should be getting from proteins and fats in the first place. And so it wrecked not just my gut health, but like also my mental health as well. And so it took a lot of healing to be able to undo that. And there's no more healing diet that I'm aware of than the carnivore diet. I think it's how our ancestors ate. After I discovered Robert Sykes and learned from his mindset and approach to bodybuilding, I lowered my fiber intake drastically to basically zero. The morning while I was typing the outline for this podcast, I added them all up and calculated that I've coached a grand total of about 94 clients, you included, Casey, since becoming an online coach in 2020. Usually 15 to 20 clients at a time when I was fully self-employed. In 2025, after my divorce and relocating to San Diego, I found that working for myself, although rewarding, to be quite lonely. So while working full-time as an assistant fitness manager during the day at EOS Fitness, it's just been the perfect career choice since it's very similar to what I was doing before. And I have a consistent income now. It doesn't fluctuate like, depending on the season like it does when you're self-employed. My employer is happy and actually encouraging with the fact that I do online coaching on the side. Best of all, I get to lead a team of kick-ass certified personal trainers that are all passionate about what they do every day. So it feels like I'm with family every day that I'm at work. Most of the people that I've worked with have been fiber-free longer than I have. And so I've learned a lot more from them really in that regard. And that's actually caused me to become more convinced of it than ever of the detrimental side effects of fiber on the human body, and I find coaching people to live healthier lives on the carnivore diet to be the most rewarding thing that I could possibly dedicate my life to. So that's why I'm doing this. Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Robert Kiltz. We've had him on the show several times. I was on his show a few months ago, and I'm actually going to be on his show here again in a couple months. So I cannot wait to talk to this guy. I love this guy. I've read 2 or 3 of his books, and I learned something new every time. So I learned so much from his books. But sugar plus fiber plus bacteria plus yeast equals fermentation, aka alcohol in your gut. That's one of the biggest things I've learned from this guy. Take it from the world's leading fertility doctor, not an infertility doctor, right? Because what I just said, those sources are from anti-fertility, anti-sex zealots that are responsible for the food pyramid that we have today. It was to make us less fertile, to have low testosterone, right? And call me a conspiracy theorist, but like the government doesn't want a whole country of people that have high testosterone, that can make their own decisions, and that are and they're well informed. They want a whole bunch of people that are docile and that listen and that are dependent on their doctors for all their medical issues. Okay, so it's not really in our government's it's not really in their best interest for us to be fixing all of our own problems nutritionally with our diet. So fibers, what is fiber? They're complex carbohydrates and strands of either completely or mostly non-digestible carbs. So it's like steel wool in your gastrointestinal tract. It's like sandpaper in your gut. It damages and destroys the mucosal lining of the GI tract. In theory, fiber is believed to add volume to your diet and keep your bowels moving. That's what I thought. But what it really does is it fuels the bacteria and the yeast in your gut, which is where most of the unexpected consequences to your whole body, starting with your gut, begin. And I don't know about most, but a lot of your brain cells are actually in your gut too. So it fucks up your digestion and it fucks up your brain at the same time. And I'm hoping that now you're starting to realize why this steals nutrients and your body and it hurts your body's ability to digest what you should be getting out of a ribeye. And a ribeye has every single nutrient that you possibly could possibly want. This client, Wendy, that I've been training for years, she eats nothing but ribeyes, right? And yeah, it's a lot of money and she doesn't have the best budget, but she prioritizes her health and knows that there's like literally nothing more nutritious that she could be eating every day. I was over 2025. I had some good sources of beef heart, right? Winco usually has really good deals on beef heart. There's not a Winco around this area, so I haven't found a good place to get beef heart yet, but actually quite a bit more nutritious than steaks. And I think it tastes just as good as a steak and not really a lot different than an actual steak, actually. But organ meat's a great source of trace minerals. So anyway, yeast, mainly the Candida species, those are present in our gut, and they in about 70% of healthy adults. And what it is, it's a type of yeast that naturally occurs in the intestines, on the skin, and in mucous membranes. And most people have some level of Candida throughout the body, and it's usually harmless. However, an overgrowth of this stuff can lead to an infection that's called candidiasis, which affects the mouth, the vagina in women, excuse my language, sorry ladies, and intestine. As you chew fiber, it simplifies and becomes exposed to digestive enzymes, resulting in heat, gas, aldehyde, alcohol, methane. I never really fart anymore. I used to fart all the time when I was eating fiber. And if you're farting, that's an indication that something is not optimal in your diet, right? That's what that should be an indicator of. Fiber also causes bloating. It affects your posture, your energy, your quality of life. It's related to constipation, stomach cramps, rectal bleeding, and all kinds of nasty diseases and unpleasant conditions. I recently took a poll from our clients asking if anyone had experienced bloat due to fiber, and the response was a unanimous yes, with written documentation that I have from 8 bikini athletes and 2 men's physique athletes. So after being fiber free for well over 3 years now, the very few times that I have eaten something containing any trace of fiber is when I'll notice bloat to a very small degree, and it throws my bowel movements off. Not a lot, but a little bit, because I never have a lot of fiber whenever I do. I never realized how much it was causing gas and bloating until I had removed it completely. Any more thoughts on that, Casey? Can you relate to anything that I was talking about?
I notice it immediately if I have any fiber in my diet. And honestly, a few years ago when I was still occasionally having things with fiber in it, if I knew that I was going to be somewhere and I didn't want to have any sort of bowel movement or anything, I would actually eat fiber, and I knew I could go all day, if not more, without having to go to the bathroom, because it just immediately stops everything in its tracks.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I think we're getting up. We're getting to the end of our show right now. I got a meeting to get to, and I know that you're cooking for a big group. What are you cooking tonight?
Braised beef shanks. I'm gonna braise them in red wine and beef stock, and serve it with some risotto and things I can't eat.
I'm coming to Idaho in 9 weeks right now. From 9 weeks from today, a little less than 9 weeks. So on my next trip up, please save some for me. Like, you can stick it in the freezer. I don't know, whatever you got to do, but god damn, that sounds good.
Oh yeah, it'll be good.
Do you ever save the bones and make your own bone broth?
Yeah, actually, my most recent ribeye is bone in, and so I'm saving the rib bones off of that. These are going, since they'll be braised, it's going to be served with the bone in, so I won't reclaim the bones. Plus, they're also going to be cooked, submerged in red wine and stuff. So, and vegetables. So I don't want any of that for myself. So I won't save the bones from that. But usually I just go like to the chef store or whatever for making my own stock. I'll go to the chef store and buy a case of beef bones, or to a butcher. Yeah, so I make my own beef stock, and I'm just out of simplicity. I don't even bother roasting the bones. I just put them in the crock pot. I mean, in the pressure cooker.
The bones are already cooked, so that's kind of redundant to do that.
Well, no, I do it. Typically, you would roast them ahead for flavor, but also it converts the proteins so that they're basically already roasted or seared, and it's going to give you a richer, darker stock. But just out of simplicity, I don't bother with that anymore. I just throw them in there, fill them up with water, bring them up to temperature, and let the pressure do its magic for about an hour, and then I just shut it off and let it cool on its own. It's a really good way to do, like, before bed. I'll do the cook and then shut it off and go to bed, and then it's still hot in the morning when I get up, but the pressure's released, and so I'm able to open it up and strain it off. But because what I'm after is just the nutritional value, more so over the flavor. I don't use any of the vegetables or tomato paste or anything like you would in a traditional stock. So I just make a pure bone broth.
Awesome. I don't have, I used to make it in a crock pot. And so it was as simple as taking leftover bones it could be from a rotisserie chicken. It could be from ribeyes. It could be from ribs. I mean, just like anything that has bones in it. Right. So like the ribeye that I had last night, I saved the bones from that. And I think I'm going to get like another day or two's worth of food from those. And so I'm just saving them all up. And then I throw them into a pot, actually, just on the stove. And then I just heat it up, bring it to a boil, and then all the water evaporates from it. And so it like reduces it. and then I add water to it, and I let that happen. And I do that 2 or 3 times. And then after, 3 or 4 hours, like I make sure that like I'm doing stuff around the house, or that I'm not going to leave, obviously, like while I do it. But that for me has been kind of like my workaround without having a crock pot, if all you have is a pot and a stove. And it's pretty damn good. I mean, like just as good as when I was doing it with the slow cooker. So I just want to throw that out there. Last question that I have for you, my guy. I'm so sorry, Holly. I forgot to ask this question earlier, but I asked KJ my buddy KJ what to talk about on the podcast, and he said, ask him what ingredient is the ingredient that makes my friend Colt such a total badass. That's literally what I said. I love you, KJ. Yeah, he's the one that we were looking at apartments with. That's who that is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Holly, text messages with Holly. Okay. Are you guys going to talk about sous vide? And I said, that's a good topic. What would you like to know? I don't really know a lot about it. And she goes, affordable options that work and best techniques. Finish with the torch, ? Thinking emoji.
Well, you are saying it right. First of all, it's French for under vacuum. So basically you vacuum seal it in a plastic bag, and the, plastic can tend to scare some people off. Food saver bags or sous vide bags that are intended for that are BPA free. But there are some other less known microplastics that isn't discussed. So, take that for what you will. And so basically it's going to cook the food throughout at the same temperature. So like with I do my prime rib that way. So when you it's going to be a medium rare on the surface as well as in the middle. So there is no carryover cooking. So your chances of overcooking it are 0. But also because it's not carrying over, if you take it out and it's still warm, you just pat it dry and you can sear it on the grill, in a hot oven, or on a griddle. And it's going to take some time for that heat to get some momentum to travel to the inside, because it's already balanced. And so it's not going to, it gives you a lot of time where you don't have to worry about overcooking it. So I like that. You can use a torch. I don't like the result as well, especially when you've got a nice fat cap, because you need the pressure of pressing that fat out to really get a nice crust on the outside of it. You can sear it ahead of time, and then you vacuum seal it, and they call that a reverse sear, and that'll help build up some flavor. And then when you're cooking it, that seared flavor will actually cook into the meat. And then you do it again at the end, just for presentation and stuff. Is there anything else I can mention about that? I don't know.
That was helpful for me. My question is, can we get one of those when you move down here in a couple months?
I have a couple.
Beautiful.
I use them almost every day, and you can cook almost anything with it.
Are you gonna bring it down?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's like
fuck yeah, man. You, me, and KJ are gonna have a hell of a time with those things.
That's
cool.
That's like my knife. I don't move anywhere without it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we are over time right now. So real quick, I'm gonna just go through this giveaway. So guys, if you want a pre-workout, if you want a really good pre-workout, that will definitely get you amped up. First of all, there's a couple things that you should look for in a good pre-workout. Okay. Number 1 is beta alanine. What does this do? It increases performance by increasing exercise capacity and decreasing muscle fatigue. Tyrosine. This is an essential amino acid that enhances nootropic effects by increasing alertness, boosting energy, and improving memory. By the way, fun fact, I think we talked about this 2 episodes ago. It blocks tyrosine absorption is blocked in the shikimate pathway, which exists within the bacteria in our gut that are responsible for metabolizing this amino acid. That is blocked. You can't absorb it if you're eating fruit because of fructose and glyphosate. Both of those things block the shikimate pathway. So if your alertness is low, if your energy is low throughout the day, if you're experiencing crashes, maybe that's the culprit. Something to think about. Potassium reduces risk of death and stroke, lowers blood pressure, protects muscle mass, and preserves bone density. Magnesium, essential for the body and brain, with 60% stored in bones and the rest in muscles, soft tissues, and fluids. B vitamins, essential for overall health and wellness, plays a crucial role in regulating energy levels, supporting brain function, and promoting cell metabolism. It also helps to prevent infections and supports healthy cells. Also, caffeine. Okay, so the ingredients here, 165 micrograms of B12, 1.4 milligrams of B6, 50 milligrams of B3, 50 milligrams of magnesium, 50 milligrams of potassium, 50 milligrams of calcium, caffeine, anhydrous. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly again. Here again, what we were talking about earlier, right? This is the faster acting, harder hitting type of caffeine, 200 milligrams of that. Theobromine, that's another stimulant, 100 milligrams of that. And then dicaffeine malate, 56 milligrams of that. It also has an extreme mental matrix, which is choline bititrate, 667 milligrams of that. And acetyl L-tyrosine, 200 milligrams of that, and eriagerensis, 100 milligrams. That's a hardcore stimulant. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Eriagerensis, just like it sounds. Starts with a J. Jarensis. It also has an extreme absorption matrix. The most important ingredient there is beta-alanine, a whopping 1,667 milligrams of that. So if you like the tingling feeling, helps you get amped up, power through to the end of your workouts. That's what beta-alanine does. Comment with anything that you learned on Spotify or on YouTube with this podcast, and that's all that you have to do. I'm going to let a week go by, and then we'll find one winner, and we'll reach out to you and ask for your address and send you your very own tub of Metabolic Nutrition ESP Extreme. Don't take it anywhere close to bedtime. Anything else, Casey? I think we covered it all.
Yep, I think so. I'm hungry.
All right. Well, you go get to cooking, my man. I love you. Thanks for being on the show, and see you real soon, okay?
All right, thanks. You too.
All right, later, my guy. And that's all that we have for this episode. So thank you, lions, lionesses, lion cubs, all for joining us on this one. And sorry about the couple swear words, that is, lion cubs and lionesses. But anyway, you can shoot Rich or myself an email, admin@supersetyourlife.com or rich@theketopro.com. Tell us what you thought of the show, okay? We're really curious about your feedback. Comment on either YouTube or Spotify to be entered for the giveaway for our pre-workout. Okay, you can send us a DM on Instagram. I am at Colt Milton. Richard is at Richard Anthony Smith. We both offer private one-on-one nutrition consultations and monthly coaching services for those who are serious about getting some real results. The first call, if you've never booked with either of us, is always free. If you're one of our listeners, we'd love to hear your story, answer your questions, and help you out in any way possible, because carnivore coaching has been a cause worth dedicating our lives to. It's who we are, and we'd be honored to help you experience what this lifestyle has done for us, our families, and our clients. So that's all that we have to say until next week. Until then, you can check out Richard's Keto Pro podcast, my workout motivation podcast, which is called the supersetyourlife.com podcast. Share this with a friend if you found it helpful. We'll catch you next week on session number 114. Until then, say this with us: eat like a lion, live like a lion. Love you guys. Have a good week until then.